Hi people! So I know I said that the next video was going to be like me making the trunks fancy, and it's kind of a bigger job than I expected. The trunks I got are kind of old and misshapen and beat up, so things aren't exactly on square in a lot of places. So it's led to some failures in my attempts to make them pretty, but I think I'm on track now to hopefully have that video out next weekend. In the meantime, this weekend I have some footage that I recorded earlier, some with my old camera, some with the new camera, of the same basic thing, some cookies. So I figured I would share this real easy cookie recipe with you. It's really great for like kids parties and like last minute. It's just like, it's so easy to throw together and it's really delicious. It's always a hit every time I make it. So I figure I'll just share this with you, just a little quickie, so that at least I'm getting something out there for you. Sorry about the trunk video, guys. Cross your fingers. I'll get it done this week, right? So you probably also noticed changed my hair. I do that a lot, so I guess bear with me. It's probably going to be this basic color scheme for a while now, because the last few things I tried to do to it I was just not happy with. And I really love this, so I'll probably be sticking with it for a while. We've got, according to one of my daughters, I'm a space witch now. Maybe eventually someday I'll show you guys how I do my hair, because I do my hair myself, because I'm cheap. Anyway, here comes cookies. Everybody loves cookies. Let's make cookies. We'll start off with the banana bread cookies, 3 ways. This is a double batch recipe. I'll be using 6 large eggs, 2 boxes of spice cake mix, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, some chopped pecans. Yes, I say pecans, not pecans, or any other weird variation. Some semi-sweet or dark chocolate chips. I'll be using both, actually. Here, I'm just showing you on a stick of butter that 1 stick of butter equals a 1/2 cup. And yeah, we're gonna use 2 of those bad boys. For these, I like my butter a little bit melty, not completely melted, but almost. So I'm gonna put both of these in this glass measuring cup and pop it in the microwave about 30-45 seconds, right around there. And then I'll let it sit in the microwave about a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to put my cake mixes into my mixer. And then add my eggs. Here's the butter, just about how I like it. Now I'm going to take 3 overripe bananas and kind of break them up into little pieces and put them in there. You want to put at least 1 banana per cake box, but you can do up to 2 bananas per cake box and still get a good consistency of cookie. Remember, those brown marks mean your banana is sweeter and actually better for making things like banana bread. Start the mixer off slow so you don't throw things everywhere. You can speed it up a little bit after things start to kind of incorporate. Partway through, I like to stop and scrape things down off the side and make sure everything up off the bottom, like, there's no dry cake mix in there. Now, I spice up my spice cake mix a little bit more. I add some pumpkin pie spice, and I just eyeball a lot of measurements, guys, sorry. It's about a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. And I'm also going to add some cinnamon, and again, it's going to be about a tablespoon of that. Really, the spices, add them to where you like them. I'm also going to add about maybe 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of this imitation caramel extract. Totally something you could skip, but I love it. And of course, some spiced rum. I put about 2 tablespoons or so of this. I like to cook my cookies on a silpat or parchment paper just because it makes cleanup easier and keeps them from sticking. These cookies will spread out quite a bit, so I'm only going to put 2 per row on here. I almost did 3 and changed my mind. I'm glad I did. And then I'll put 4 rows, so altogether I'm putting 8 cookies per baking sheet. I like to use this little ice cream scoop to make my cookies because it gets them more of an even size and it's just easier to deal with than a regular spoon and trying to scrape it out of the spoon. These are going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes. Here's the first batch. These are just plain banana bread cookies. For the next batch, I'm going to add some chocolate chips to the remaining dough. I didn't have quite enough in that first bag, so I opened a second bag. Altogether, I put about probably 1.5 cups of chocolate chips in there, but my family likes the chocolate chips, so I went a little bit crazy. It looks like this, nice and chunky. And then I bake those the same way. And then for the third batch, I'm going to add some of these chopped pecans. I only add probably about, I don't know, 1/2 cup or so of these because not everybody is totally crazy about them. But I think they're really nice in banana bread. So there you have it. You have some plain banana bread cookies, some with chocolate chips, and some with chocolate chip and pecans. And these were all made from the same batch of dough. I just added extra ingredients as I went. And as you can see, it made a ton of cookies, which was great because I was making these as a Christmas gift this year. So you can see my mixing bowl is dirty. That's because I forgot to record the first time I did this. I had to make a second batch. My family was so depressed, let me tell you. So I'm just using a normal brownie mix and again 1 stick of butter, but this time we're not going to melt it. It's just room temperature, very soft, maybe a little bit warmer than room temperature. And we're only going to use 2 eggs for this one. The more eggs you put in, the more cakey consistency you get, so that's not really what I'm going for with the brownie cookies, so 2 is perfect. You're pretty much following the directions on the box, but leaving out the water. For a richer brownie, I like to add some cocoa. I put about 2 tablespoons of cocoa. And about 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. If you don't like coffee, don't worry, you're not going to taste that. It's just going to make the chocolate richer. Again, we start off mixing slowly so we don't throw things everywhere, and then we speed up. This is going to be a super thick batter, so, be prepared for that. I'm going to use the same little ice cream scoop thing as before. But on this tray, I did 4 rows of 3, so 12 cookies per tray, because these don't spread out quite as much as the banana bread cookies do. And again, these will bake in a 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes. When transferring these to the cooling tray, I like to use a little butter knife here to kind of slide them off the spatula. It just makes it easier because they kind of like to stick to the spatula and I'm trying to not tear them up as much as possible. They're really fragile when they're still hot, but as they cool, they get nice and crispy. I like to turn these into little cookie sandwiches or whoopie pies. So in this bowl at room temperature, I've got a 1/2 stick of butter and an entire package of cream cheese, and I just added a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of sour cream to that. You don't want to add very much sour cream because that can make your icing really runny. Then you just mix it until it's nice and smooth. And give it a little taste test. Now I'm going to take 2 of my brownie cookies, and on the bottom side of one, I'm just going to gloop on some icing like this. And then smoosh on the other cookie like this. And voila! So freaking delicious. This was my breakfast, guys. So the outside is nice and crunchy, and then the inside is all gooey brownie. It is wonderful. These cookies are super easy, excellent, and cheap. What more could you want? Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next weekend.